right. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 110. Who's crying now? And we're here. Fellas, what's good with you? On this special Friday night edition, thanks to the old NFL. CB was good, bro.
Hey man, happy to be joining you guys on a Friday. Switching it up a little bit, and yeah, man, I'm ready for the weekend to get started. This is one way to kick it off.
Absolutely. E, what's good, bro?
Man, I was before we went live, I was telling CB I just got a quick 30-minute workout on, and damn, it just like hit me like these late workouts, bro. I gotta twist it up somehow, start something new. You dig?
Do you partake in the pre-workout?
I don't, because work is enough of a pre-workout that I'm definitely ready for whatever the damn workout has to come with. But nah, the reason why is I don't know. Like, this is weird. Like, old school. Like, I don't even eat before workouts, right? Like, I don't even if it's like if I do, I have to make sure it's at least an hour and a half period where that's gone by. But even with liquid, sometimes just because I feel like it's set right there, that just takes a minute.
All right, absolutely. I can't eat before workout because I don't like feeling heavy going into the workout. Got to feel light as possible, and then on top of that, I do drink pre-workout. It just depends on what time of day it is. We probably talked about this before. Like, first thing in the morning, if it's before my normal hours, I'm pre-working out because I need that. But if it's like in that 10 o'clock range where my body should be full function at this point, I really don't need it, so I won't do it. But then late in the evening, if I do an after work kind of workout, I'm popping it all day. One, it's hard enough just to get up to go, but you need that extra motivation just to get in there. So,
I mean, and y'all know I worked at GNC for like 4 years, so that was like my job in college. So, I felt like I was a dope dealer out of that joint when I was in Towson. All my homies always had the protein powder on deck, you know what I mean? And the creatine, all that.
And CB is still my pusher because I'll go to him right if I need anything or figure out, is this good? Is this and when it comes to pre-workout, you do want a clean feel because I've had some where with the creatine in it or without creatine, it just gives you the jitters and it just feels like really weird how your body buzzes like that. So I've definitely gone to the CB before for the pre-workout kind of hook up.
What's that recovery life like though?
So I know CB does. He does the post workout, like the recovery drinks. I typically afterwards I'm in water. It depends. So if it's outdoor and it's hot, my boy turned me onto Pedialyte. So just to replenish electrolytes. But after like a normal gym workout, it's just water for me, and maybe maybe some protein, whatever it is, just to kind of refuel a little bit, but nothing heavy.
I'm gonna have to holler at CV about that because I definitely I make sure I get the protein in the food that I eat after the fact. But I know you try to keep it in that window of that 30 minutes somewhat after you're done working out. So,
right. And CB, and break it down a little bit. We all know what the pre-workout does, but what is it necessary to take a post, or like what does the post do for you?
So all those supplements are exactly what that term is. They are a supplement to what you're already doing. So you should be getting the vast majority of all your nutrients from the foods that you're eating. So if you do get a good meal after workouts, then you might not need to be doing protein shakes or some of those branched chain amino acids and stuff, but it doesn't hurt. And so it's one of those things where you don't want to be using those things as a replacement for actual real substance. But they do help, and it helps fill in some of the gaps that it's hard to get. As an example, creatine is something that our body naturally produces. Like it's like what our body uses to recycle its muscular energy. It's a natural thing. However, from the foods that we get it from, we mostly cook a lot of it out because it's in raw meat. So when you're cooking steaks and stuff, like the more well done it is, the less creatine it's going to have in there. So we can get it from different food sources, but the only way to actually get the amounts in that make it beneficial for working out and speeding up your recovery and helping to enhance your endurance is when you're supplementing it, because that's the only way to actually get in an appropriate amount, because it would be so difficult to do it from just eating alone. So that's when it comes into play, and the supplements can really be a plus in your regimen. But if people have a really well balanced diet and they're able to stay on top of that, you don't really need it. But if we're being honest, most of us aren't 100% on the diet aspect of it all the time. So it doesn't hurt to have, at least in my opinion, it doesn't hurt to have, the protein shakes around, because they can help also just be snacks in between meals, help you get the intake up. Because we know if we're trying to bulk up for the winter, we need to be getting in more calories and more protein, because that's what our body's going to use to build. So,
Right. Okay. All right, fellas, let's wrap. So, and Mars hinted to it earlier. It's hard to believe, like we're on the eve of, in my lifetime, like the first time America changed, because we're technically sitting in a different type of way. America is changing right now, but 20 years ago tomorrow is the anniversary of September 11th, 2001, right? And everybody, and we probably talked about this a few times. Hell, we probably talked about it last year if we went into a show with it. But I'm sure everybody remembers where they were, how they felt, because that's just something you can't forget. The attack on. I think that was the first time I realized we weren't safe. Because before that, I mean, we were spoiled as a nation, because you didn't think about that. You're thinking that's the last thing from your mind, that something like that could happen, because we've got the military. Military's never going to allow anything like that to happen. But not to mention, Pearl Harbor did happen. So I mean, it has happened before. So let's just go around, like, even if we told it a million times, where were you 20 years ago tomorrow? Because at this point, 20 years ago, at 9:43 at night, I would have been, I was still, I was going to my, I was already into my freshman year, and party, like, I don't know if I was partying, but I wasn't asleep at this point, but I wasn't thinking about what tomorrow would bring. But let's go around. Let's just kind of talk about that as we kind of pay homage or tribute to 20 years of this.
I mean, I definitely can't forget. Was freshman year of high school, and I probably told the story every year, since. French class, freshman year of high school. One of the upperclassmen who was in this like French 101 class, this dude who really needed these credits, was listening to the radio like through like a Walkman, instead of partaking in the class. And he was like, he sat in the middle. It's not like this dude was in the back or anything. Like, this was the dude that was generally causing trouble or whatever. But because he was listening to the radio, he was the first person in the classroom to hear about what was going on. And so he actually like got the attention of everybody in the class. And if I'm remembering correctly, we like Montgomery County Public Schools got sent home early that day. And I mean, Kaleo, like you were talking about, like back in 2001, we didn't have social media the same way that we have. We don't, the access to all the information. To think about how different it is now than it was 20 years ago is still kind of crazy. Right. But we did kind of feel like untouchable. You know what I mean? Like we're America. We're big and bad. You can't touch us. And to have something like that happen, and then to have the Pentagon shit happen. And the thing is my dad was working in the Pentagon at the time. He wasn't at the Pentagon. He was like actually traveling. But like when that news came out, my baby sister didn't know. So she was like a wreck. Like it was like a mess until my dad actually got on the phone with her and was like, "Hey baby, I'm not anywhere near there." But I mean, that kind of stuff, it sticks with you. It's wild to think that we're now on the eve of like 20 years, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. First of all, let's just slap in the face that CB said that he was in high school at the time. Just damn it. No. So I got sophomore year at Morgan State, right? And I heard my roommates who, first of all, the night before we had went out, and so that next day, like it was just like a slow roll. And I remember hearing stuff. Me and my roommate, Street, we had a TV in the room, and it was on. And you know, like stations just automatically switch, so you like thinking like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? Like some public service announcement, or you know, they be having those like super like the real off kilt emergency joints, real like you know, say through the campus, right? Because you know you tie into the campus, you know, they be sending those out. But anyways, I remember looking up, and the first building had already been hit, and literally the picture that you have that was my first view of when I saw the TV, and I was just like, damn, somebody just ran into the building. And then like I remember like everybody in the suite was like, some fool and ran into the building, you know, always thinking that it's just, you know, somebody who don't know what the hell they doing.
Right, because you're not thinking that.
Right. Like that's the furthest from your mind. But you can tell that if it was two of them, that ain't just one fool. That's calculated. But to kind of tie it in, just like what CB said, unfortunately, like my aunt at the time was at the Pentagon when that happened. And so clearly I was on the cell phone, like trying to get her. And of course, all the cell phone towers was down, trying to get to her. And then they showed a picture of it, and you're like, yeah, you know, you're not supposed to know what side of what wing, you know, they're on and shit like that. But I'm just like, come on, bro. Like, this is a whole plane. Like, this is not some little small little, you know, like a couple of windows. Like, it was a good portion of it. So just trying to get in contact with her was kind of like the crazy part. Because me and her had actually, you know, like I said, the fact that she was really the only blood family that I had on the East Coast. So we spent a lot of time together. But it was just crazy because it's just like, you know, unfortunately, I remember some of the other incidents because you still had the, what was it, the Timothy McVeigh, like the bombing, right, prior to that. And even though that wasn't on that scale, you know, when you guys say like we were safe, it always, you know, had a sense of the stuff that was going on in the outside world of what was happening and how really at that early age, you kind of realize like it's a whole lot of people that don't like us just because of the name America. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you fought with that. Like, why would that be the thing? You know what I'm saying? The innocent lives that you take just to prove a point that, you know, is hard to understand on any level. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, and the fallout that came with that. But when you kind of sum it all together, it actually created the career that I am currently in, which was security, was off of that.
Oh, I mean, people got rich. I mean, a lot of people died tragically. Terrible, you know. There's if you Google 9/11, 2001. I mean, there's the documentaries, there's the pictures. I mean, pictures of people who just were at the top of where the plane crashed in the tower, that knew that they were the only way out was just to jump. And at that point, you know what the ladder is of jumping, but you'd rather do that than just to be in it. Because I mean, eventually the towers fell. I mean, it's like when I say like we were so blinded, like, you know, it's because we've never experienced that, and then like your innocence is lost. I think, you know, that's just one moment you realize again, like this is some serious stuff. And then there was the plane that they say that the passengers took back and they crashed into the field in Pennsylvania, and that was rumored to have been going to the White House. There's I don't know if they've ever confirmed that within 20 years, but everybody knows where that was going. And there's always the conspiracy theories of how that plane actually went down. But we know it didn't make it to where it was supposed to go to. I remember I was in accounting class and I got out and I saw, it just felt weird coming out into the yard, and the numbness of everybody's face, and I saw tears. And it's like, well, everybody can't be crying for the same, like, there's something going on here. Everybody's not tied to one, something's happening. So I give my mom a call. My mom, I realized she had called me or something like that. So I was able to reach out. And then she's like, did you hear what's going on? I was like, no. She's like, the planes crash, we're terrorist attack. I think at that point they had labeled it that. And it's like, what? It's still a shock. At this point, I've never seen anything like that. So it's like, oh, wow, okay. And at that point, they did cancel class for the rest of the day. And I remember what I did, and it's so funny that subconsciously, I did the same. This is playing back into my head now. But I went to Circuit City and I purchased Blueprint. And I couldn't wait. Jay-Z's Blueprint had dropped that day. And I say that because I was listening to Blueprint yesterday and today, and I didn't realize, I hadn't put two and two together that album is forever for me tied to that album, to that day, because I went to Circuit City to get it. And that's where like all the TVs are covering the news. And that's the first time I had saw the clear shot of the plane had already gone into the towers. The second plane, because the first one they were already reporting that, they thought it was just a freak accident. And then while they're reporting that, you can see the second one come in. So it's just 20 years. Wow. 20 years flies. Still feels the same because we've lived it. But definitely, I want to say, my heart definitely goes out to anybody that was affected by that. Whether if you were a first responder, all the way down to if you knew somebody, or even if you was just, as an American, just heart goes out to you in that. 20 years. And still to this day, New York doesn't feel the same.
That's true.
Yeah. So, what we got in the all of it. I don't know what that part was, but all of it. Exactly. On to something lighthearted. There's our man. Well, he's never been my man. Clinton Portis. If you've been a Denver Bronco fan or a fan of the U, he went to the U, right? Okay, yep. Yeah. I can. Fan of the U or Washington football team. There's Clinton Portis right there. And Clinton Portis is in a little bit of trouble right now. He's set to be sentenced in January. He's got a little bit of time, but time flies. Hell, we're in the 9th month already. Good grief. He's going to be sentenced in January for health care fraud. Making fraudulent claims to one of the funds that they have set up in NFL to help players who who need medical help. He and 3 other guys. I guess he was the bigger name, so that's why his name headlines the scam. Because I read the other names, I don't know who these guys are. But they got caught, and he's facing up to 10 years, if the max. So what they were doing in a matter of 2 months, he was able to scam out almost $100,000 in a matter of 2 months, making just fraudulent claims and never purchasing the equipment with the money. I think that's how it was working. He's supposed to buy medical equipment with the claim. He never did. He just pocketed the money. So, my first question is, didn't this guy sign a huge contract I mean, we know that doesn't always mean something, but I remember him getting paid significantly, right? And to end up in this situation right here.
Yeah, he had like one of those tragic, got defrauded by one of his money managers and basically lost everything that he had made. And you compound that on top of the lifestyle that he lived. It really just was a recipe for disaster. It's wild because one of my boys used to work for someone who dealt with his finances before he had these issues. Like it was like, so it's just wild. And as a former Redskins current football team fan, like Clinton Portis is one of my favorite players, from the franchise of all time. So it is like heartbreaking to see one of those guys that we talk about, thinking we're invincible when they're on Sundays and they're, carrying your team. You don't expect to see them in a situation like this.
And that story always, carries over to be that's the ongoing story sometimes where, these athletes get paid and they have the mismanagement of funds of having the wrong people handle your money. But then I'm like, so I feel bad in a sense that I don't, because why would you not know what's going on with your money? Even if somebody else is handling, why aren't your eyes on your money when it comes to that? Go ahead, E.
It's like you gotta pay your financial advisor to have a financial advisor, right? Like somebody to check the books behind the guy that's actually doing the books. But man, all in all, man, really, I say this. He had a good personality that he probably would have fared better in this era because of like the dressing up and all the stuff that he did. Like I think that would have helped him maybe garnish a different type of lifestyle where, and maybe around the different ones where a lot of the cats that we hear about that don't have money or going through money problems, if they were in this era, they would do a lot better just based upon the information was there. Because that ESPN thing that rolled out years ago from baseball to all of the sports is just far as like how they just go through their money. But again, anybody who's been through any NCAA clearinghouse, like there's a freshman orientation about money, about finance.
They make them take and then before they even get drafted, right? Don't they put them in a course?
It's a whole but the reason why it doesn't work is because they set it up like class, and none of these fools ever went to class anyway, right? And you got 40 of them in one room. They sleep, it's dark, they just trying to go out and either do the press and see what shoes company that, like, they not focused on you telling them you're about to go from asking, like the different breakdowns. And I think this is what it comes to, right? The athlete that didn't get anything compared to the athlete that was in AAU that got that Nike bag that had the money in the shoe, to the other athlete that was like maybe had the parents, you know what I'm saying, that could give them. But you went from not having to now not wanting for nothing, and nobody telling you how to maintain that. And then the fact is that you got everybody wanting from you and you trying to kick it out. But you also hear in the back of your head, oh, don't worry about it. Like, you good. You still got this coming in. You're young. You're gonna get another contract, another this, and this is coming in. Yep. So it's sad that this is the case. But I mean, how many stories do we have of other? And the bad part is when the athletes scam other athletes, right? The Ponzi schemes of they used to play in the same league and now they scamming the cats that are in the league that they played in. Like that right there. That's a whole nother conversation, but yeah.
And so it's trust issue. It's trust factor, right? Because you are lotto pick or NBA, NFL, whatever. You're one of the top picks. People are recruiting you or telling you to leave college, or at that point you come right out of high school too. Leave the next level and go to the top because they're waiting on you. You're about to get paid. Okay. So again, this goes back to finance. I'm coming from nothing. And you're telling me that I'm gonna make millions of dollars. Okay. And most of the time, the people next to me, whether it's my mother, my father, single mom, no parent, we're ignorant too when it comes to money. And so now we're entrusting all of everything we're getting ready to come into with this one guy, your agent, right? He's going to get you the best deals. So you almost have to trust him. Him get you the best deals. I'm going to put you in the best situations. We're going to make all this money. Okay. And then, he's telling you, we're about to make, about to sign a $40 million contract. Okay. Well, this guy just got me all this money. I have to trust him because he's getting me all this money. But you're not paying attention. Yeah, he's getting you a $40 million contract. But what is he taking? He knows it's there, and he's steadily, and then they all just, if you're not smart, that's why I commend LeBron when it came down to that. He took a chance on Rich Paul, his boy, because that's the trust factor right there, right? And look at that. But it's just sad. I mean, you hear a lot of these when these guys make these investments, like apartment complexes, Scottie Pippen with the airplanes, like you make these blind, ignorant to the fact investments, and they don't pan out, and you lose. I mean,
hey, shout out to Dirk Nowitzki for being his own agent and literally negotiating all of his deals with the Dallas Mavericks and not giving that money to nobody but himself.
That's why you gotta know your shit. You gotta know your shit. And Clinton Portis said he's gonna pay back. You can make it right, pay it back, right? First of all, the case was a mistrial. I mean, it was hung jury. They couldn't come to an agreement whether he did it or not. But then he confessed to it like 2 weeks later. I don't get it. So, but I know one thing's for sure. Everybody thinks they can get a commentating deal. I'm gonna make all this money in the league, and then I'm gonna go coach or I'm gonna go commentate and make some money doing that way. I'm gonna be constantly working. Well, first of all, the money isn't always good on the other side because not everybody gets a head coaching gig, and then not everybody lands on ESPN, and or it's not as easy as you think it is. Because if you've ever seen Clinton Portis commentate on the sideline, it's like watching Ron Burgundy. This guy reads everything on the screen.
It's almost like he played one of the most violent positions, for a decade, getting hit in the head over and over again.
I'm trying to tell you, this guy, first of all, I have this. So if you've ever listened to Redskin Radio, the old Skins Radio, yeah, Doc Walker.
Yep.
Oh my God, that guy. He's a tool. First of all, he's a tool. Just comment. He's funny. Then you have Sonny Jurgensen, who he'll make the call. He'll commentate the play 4 plays later. So if the quarterback throws a touchdown, 4 plays later, they're on defense now. Oh my God, he just threw a touchdown. Sonny, that was 4 plays and 2 quarters ago. It was what game are you watching, Sonny? But if you ever seen Clinton Portis commentate, I'm trying to tell you, it's like a deer in the headlights. It's like, hi, I'm Clinton Portis, period. Look away at the person next to you. How are you doing? I'm Clinton. It was just robotic. It was horrible. But we'll see.
Not his strength. Not his strength.
Exactly. Absolutely. So everybody doesn't get that big deal. It's harder than what you think it is. So let's go to this. First of all, I still don't get the cover. It's a conversation piece. I don't know.
But those are the emojis,
Yeah,
and
I get it,
Drake doesn't discriminate. He's a certified lover boy.
Yeah. Dropping. Okay. E-Rich fan club in the house. No, I'm joking. But anyway, Certified Lover Boy came out last week. First of all, CB, have you finally listened to it yet?
I've listened to most of it, but I've not listened to all of it.
E, did you listen to all of it?
I have listened to all of it.
Okay. And I have finally, the first listen was in pieces because I kept getting interrupted and I couldn't find the flow. I couldn't find my flow into the music. So I went for one of my long rides over the weekend, and I played it from start to finish. And I still tried to, and I thought it was me. I still tried to find the groove in it, but it's a good project. I will say that it's not bad. It's a good project, but to me, it feels like one of those projects where he cut and pasted a lot of songs to fill an album. There's not. It didn't feel like and I can't compare it to a Donda, even though people want to. Donda to me, start to finish, felt like one mode, one energy, one feel. It didn't. You could still have an album that's not the same melodic tune all the way through and still feel put together. This just felt like it was. I did this song 2 years ago. Okay, yeah, it sounds good. Let's just remaster it and put it on here. I did this song. Boom, let's put it right here. And that's what it felt like. Right. So not a bad project. It's just, and the sound was pretty good. It just to me didn't have that flow. Thoughts?
I mean, he's a singles rapper. You know what I mean? So,
that's a good
his projects aren't gonna sound like the off season, which you can just listen to all the way through. It's one thing, and it has its ups and downs. There's a story being told through the music and everything, and it's hard. Not every artist it even has a goal to do that with their projects. You know what I mean? Like Drake is out here; he's got the most streams ever. He's moving numbers, like the money's coming in. To him, like why how is anyone else going to say he's not successful? You know what I mean? Like, how are people going to say that this album sucks or it's trash when it's moving all these numbers and everything? You know what I mean? So, like, it's got songs on there that, for the most part, why haven't I gotten through all of it? Well, because, for some of them, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to keep listening to this one. And I mean, probably to no one's surprise, the joint that I like the most on there so far is the joint with Lil Wayne and Rick Ross. So,
shocker there.
Yeah, shocker there.
But no, that's actually a pretty damn good song, though, for real.
I mean, and it's Wayne spazzes on it, so I'm like, yeah, this is dope. But it's this is kind of just like what you kind of expect. You kind of expect there to be a lot of R&B type joints and Instagram, Facebook captions everywhere, like he's always going to hit you with at least one liner, and then there's some songs where it's nothing but those, you know what I mean? So people are so ready to, start posting lyrics in their story and doing all that stuff. Drake is executing the plan exactly how he's got it laid out.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, CB pretty much said a lot that I would say. But I agree. It's a Drake album. It's not, we weren't looking for it to be not a Drake album. Like, we weren't looking for him to come out with like a Nas type album, you know what I mean? Like a album where it's only, and let's be honest, the fact that he hit us with as many songs as he did, you know what I'm saying? He didn't really have to, but he did. Here's the thing that I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I think it is just the way that the day and age of the album is now. And this is a little knock because if you really think about it, Ye's album is the same way. Whereas when you listen to it, it has its ups and downs. Because remember what we said, if you take his features off, you're listening to Ye and then you're just like, I felt like I just heard the song 2 songs ago. Drake's album is supposed to sound like that because it's all his melodical, R&B kind of whatever it is. And I think at this point, he knows everything is about being mainstream, right? It's about literally knowing that he can tilt the needle all by himself. And he's like, do you think I care anything about what anybody else says? The fact that I know I'm about to come out, like you just said, his album cover.
He does.
If you really don't understand his album cover, do you think he's like, he was supposed to get it? Like, why not?
I think he does.
I don't think he does. Because like CB said, the fact of the matter is the fool came out with the whole album that he knew, regardless of the fact, even if he did his one or two tracks that everybody know that we were gonna hear, right? You knew even after he said who was on what. Let's just be honest. You can take both songs off with Future, right? Keep the Wayne and Ross, because listen, matter of fact, let me just say this. Shout out to Mixtape Wayne reappearing out of nowhere on his features all of a sudden, because he's going back to that bag and not that bullshit that he was giving us for a while.
I was telling my brother, he sounds healthier. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And
So,
I think y'all know what I mean. Like, he
I'm glad you
sounds
said
healthier.
that. I'm glad you said that. Do you think this verse was being sat on?
Whose? Wayne's?
Yeah.
No.
Not with the way it sounded produced.
No,
I don't think
not
so.
at all.
I'm just asking. I mean, people have verses that they sit on. Okay, I'm just asking.
And
because
the reason why
I admit that's why, because you said that he sounded clean, healthier. That's why I was saying, yeah.
Nah, the reason why. So and you go co-sign this, because what song you been listening to the hell out of on the Hitler one? Hitler wears Hermes.
I listened to that whole joint. That
You
whole
listen
thing.
to the whole thing, but Wayne snaps on that one as well.
He does. Oh, he absolutely does. And
He also
and that's another thing, because that project right there has the same vibe all the way through. I mean, it's one project. You can tell he built that from the intro to the outro. Just sonically, it's all there, right? And I was going to prove my point that Drake does care what you think. He does care how he's received, is because we know the Scorpion album was changed after Pusha T got in his ass.
That's a response,
changed.
but that's a response. What I'm saying is if that's the response, right? Mm-hmm. My question to you is, the fact is that I feel like let's say he did that, he made that change. What since then has Drake done that he knows that whatever he does and he touches is automatically just gonna be off the kilt? Just, it don't matter. It's gonna be whatever is happening on.
That's true. And what I was gonna say, again, it's not a bad project, but the mixtapes Drake has dropped in the past couple of years have been way more fire. The Dark Hours, If You're Reading This, Is Too Late. Hell, even the ones where he dropped all his mixtape singles, where you have the Jodeci, the all that other stuff, the Paris Morton music, like that. To me, I find that Drake more interesting because it feels like it's more hip hop based. The album Drake you get is definitely catered to females.
It's commercial.
And yeah, very commercial. And let me tell you this: Future is the worst rapper I've ever heard in my entire life. He's the worst rapper.
Over Silk the Shocker.
I'm talking about mainstream. I'm talking about, because Future is everywhere, and he is horrible. Meek Mill is the most overrated. Future is the worst rapper. And I'm not going to even get into whoever. I sat here and watched Made in America last week just because it was streaming. And I've never heard of 42 Doug, but that was horrible too. I'm not going to go to that. That's a different type of horrible. But we're sitting here, that whole Too Sexy. What the hell is that? I mean, I know he took the sample from somebody else, but I can't understand what Future's saying. It's like he's
that's like why people like him, dog. It's the sound, and that's the thing. Like, Future isn't
it's not
out
meant for
there.
Me to get. It's
right. He's not for, like, I don't mean this as disrespect, so maybe he's gonna think it's disrespectful, but he's not like a hip hop guy. You know what I mean? Like, he has a sound which a lot of people stole because he was killing it. You know what I mean? Like, how many Future clones came out after, he started popping? And
Thug.
Bro, Designer was hot for that split second, literally because people thought he was him.
Yeah.
You know, like that shit's crazy. But yeah, no, he's not necessarily for us, but he, you know, he's got a sound that a lot of people really like.
Yeah. Is 21 Savage really that good?
I think he's more talented as a rapper than Future. Like they're not even in the same
facts.
They're not on the same level as far as I'm concerned.
Funny thing is 21 is actually his collaborations are good with like a Drake or like a Cole. Like it just
him and Cole might as well just do a joint album too.
I think it's because of like that melodic, like then he gets on the track and it almost is what you need to match the energy, which is not matching the energy. It's almost like bringing you back down. You're like, oh, okay. Like now that I'm off of that, like here we are with the playing level. And he is, I won't call it wordplay. Damn sure not calling it wordplay. What he writes down is just clever enough to get you. But F all of that. You already know what I'm about to go with this. So let's just go ahead and tackle the elephant in the room. The track that Drake released.
Again, that plays into people thinking he cares about what people think. There was no need for him to drop that. Why would you drop that?
Yes, First it was.
Of all, really? That track right there is better than anything on Certified Lover Boy and on Donda. Okay. And you put it out.
Reason why. What happened after that? What happened immediately after he dropped that out?
People started listening to that song. At least I did.
Not so much they were listening to it, but go further beyond that, right? It drew more people who probably didn't fuck with Drake to then go listen to it because they already know what Donda was about. It was to see if he did address Ye in his album because they don't fuck with him, right? And then everybody was already putting out which song was his reply to Ye, right? The crazy part is what nobody's talking about is the simple fact is how in the hell did he get the song? And nobody's talking about because everybody's always talking about Ye's camp is always this and always that because you got Pusha in the camp, you got I think Consequences still in there. He even said it himself. The only thing we trying to figure out is who the hell is the mole in our camp that let him get that song. You can't tell me that don't. You mean to tell me he cares about what people think about that song? The fact of the matter is that to me, chess move. I already knew that you had this song. I put it out.
Yeah, but it wasn't even. I don't think it was ever going to be released as.
Ye said he was. Ye said if he.
But there was a different verse.
He said if he commented on him on the Loverboy album that he had his shit already ready for him.
Yeah,
Ye playing tough about his moms. Listen, I'm just gonna say this, and I agree with Andre 3000. It was tragic that he used that song with that person on there to go there with about Drake. Like, come on, bro. Like, you are super in your feelings if when everybody views 3 Stacks, bro, on a different level. You do that with some other.
I would have loved to hear. There's obviously another version because he said that wasn't the verse that was there when they did the song.
Yep.
Still it don't matter, bro. To me, first of all, Kanye is already a sucker just for the MAGA hat situation, and he's still claiming that he about to go get the red hat. Like, shout out to you, bro, because that's all you. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you would do that on an album, you're supposed to be celebrating your moms, bro. That's how I know where you at mentally, that you would even go that route. Like,
but it didn't make the album. So that's the thing. Like, it technically wasn't on the album.
Cleo.
It wasn't put on.
Cleo.
Look, we know what it was recorded for, but the fact that it did not make the album is not on the album.
So you mean to tell me that USCB do a track, even though it doesn't make the album, but the intent, even though it didn't make the album, was for the album if somebody says
it's a different verse, so now it's changed. Okay. Andre's is still the same. Okay. Andre's is still the same.
So
it didn't make the album because, well, first of all, Andre's verse didn't make the album because of the cussing, right? So therefore, it null and voided the part of the album. So the verse is still very much close to it, but it just didn't make the album. I don't know. That's the technicality in it. I'm just telling you the technicality in it. It doesn't matter. Andre 3000 had the best verse probably of 2021 thus far. Doesn't matter. Out of all the verses,
he just comes in off the bench. He just takes the warm-ups off.
The ninth month of the
drops
year.
50 real quick, steps back out.
Facts.
One verse the whole year. I haven't heard Andre on anything else this year, and that verse right there is the verse of the year.
Because isn't this the anniversary of AT Aliens?
25 years.
In the 25th, like 3 sacks. Him and Big Boy got to be coming out, just doing stuff.
I mean, that's that
Cleo's
verse right
boy
there.
Fucked it up for everybody.
Who's that?
Ye fucked it up for everybody.
I'm not even worried about Ye.
No. What I'm saying is by him pulling that stunt and doing it on that track, by him fucking up, because even 3 sacks was like, I want to do a verse on Drake shit. I want to do a song with Kendrick. Now I feel
Kendrick.
I feel like Kendrick just is like over there with the Birdman hands. Like my last album, and Stack said he wants to do something.
Oh, he could get that Kendrick verse.
Him and Cole. If Kendrick, Cole, and Stack's verse comes out on a Kendrick song,
I will leave all that other play stuff out the way. Kendrick gonna get that verse, and Cole might, if Cole got something going on maybe on Kendrick's album, it makes sense. But okay, there's a couple other things on here before there's just one thing I want to bring up. In the quest of, let me bring this up. In the quest of getting permanent brain damage, or some type of major illness, or that's not that one. Not that one either. Evander Holyfield is fighting this weekend. In his quest to get some type of permanent brain damage, this 50-plus-year-old man, who I don't know who gave him a boxing license, because he's not all the way there, is fighting. And he's fighting some mixed martial arts guy who I've never even heard. I think I've seen him fight once or twice.
Vitor's a legend. But the thing is this is the Jake Paul shit. Like, Holyfield, who we know actually is a boxer, was a boxer. He actually understands that sport, how you throw punches in boxing, how you use the gloves, all that. Belfort, he probably has boxing experience. He's also like up into his 40s.
He's gonna whoop Holyfield's ass.
The thing is, though, is that like you don't throw punches in MMA the same way that you throw punches in boxing. And Belfort has like knockout power and stuff, but that's in the MMA arena where you can be setting up shots with, kicks and these other things, which you're doing that with your footwork when you're boxing. It's a little bit different. So I think Holyfield to some degree is picking his shot because this is a big enough name in the MMA community, and Holyfield is still Holyfield. So like some people are going to check in just for the comedy value.
Dog. He's just a name. This guy's reflexes are null and void.
We are not tuning in.
I could probably beat Holyfield at this point.
I would hope so.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
Right. But we know it's definitely, these like carnival act, money grab type fights that we're seeing all over the place now.
People want to watch right now in this pandemic.
I mean, dude, it's a topic for another day, but, are we going to argue that boxing isn't dying?
Shout out to Terrence Crawford that's keeping it alive.
Yes, yeah. Bud's doing what he can do.
If they get that man a fight.
Yeah. I mean, if everyone would just quit being scared.
That part.
We know what we want. Alrighty. Let me set you up right.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the extravaganza, dog. I was listening to that Cameron. Man, you know what? This one touches home a little bit. because in the household, there's usually that one or two things that ultimately kind of divides or separates. How you might have two of the same things in the house, right? And usually this is the one, right? This is typically the one. The picture that I have for this, I feel, is very near and dear to my heart. Love the show dearly, and I think he said it best. But in this segment of Is It Just E? Is it orange juice with pulp or without pulp? That is the question. And I'm gonna tell you right now, hell no to pulp. Okay? Nobody wants to chew the damn drink. You know what I'm saying? You're not eating. You're just drinking. You dig? That's just me, but I feel like that's the masses. And if you like pulp in your shit, there's something wrong with you. It'd be like sticking on the side of the edge of the glass and shit after you drinking it. Looks like you left remnants through your mouth and shit. Like, I can't. Nah. And this is literally, this is divide a house. You'll have two motherfucking orange juices in your refrigerator because you got one person that likes the shit and the other person be like, I can't do it. I can't do it. You hear people ask when you go to a drive up, if they ask, they be like, the breakfast, right? They hit you with the breakfast. The Simply orange juice is definitely Simply orange juice with no pulp. Orange juice with no pulp. Holla at me. I see CB's cracking up, but I'm gonna go with Cleo first because I know CB got a story behind it. So,
I mean, so there's layers to this.
Right? Is there?
Well, when it comes to orange juice, for sure.
Okay.
First of all, if I'm going to the store and I'm buying orange juice, buying it, no pulp whatsoever.
Facts.
Absolutely not. But now, if you go to a restaurant for brunch and they make freshly squeezed orange juice, and because that shit hits a little different, they're taking the orange, they're putting it in the machine, and you're getting the orange juice fresh there, and then the pulp does get into that. I can't help that, but that's delicious because it just hits a little different. But naturally, no pulp. But the other layer to this is, there's that frozen juice thing that's in like the freezer section when you pop the top and you put it
Kids
in the,
know nothing about that shit, dog. Like, that's
Yeah,
literally from our childhood.
You put it in the pitcher, hot water, whatever it is, and you stir it and all that. You can make orange juice that way too. Now, orange juice that way to me is not as good. The pineapple orange frozen concentrate is amazing.
Concentrate like a motherfucker.
And then I'll tell you what orange juice I do hate. Donald Duck. For some reason, that Donald Duck shit is thick it's a smoothie. But I will say that's why it gets real dicey in different levels of orange juice. But if off the break, no pulp. But freshly squeezed, sometimes you will get pulp, and I'm okay with that.
I'm saying strictly from the store. You got to make a purchase. Which one you going with?
From the store. Kaleo, like you said, it's more often than not, it's going to be no pulp. However, I'm not someone to turn away orange juice if I'm out somewhere just because it has some pulp in there. But if I want to eat an orange, I'll ask for an orange. But I'm not scared of the pulp, Like Pulp is fine, whatever. Pulp Fiction, like Rashad put up, it's a great movie. I think that people, I don't know why I think this way, but I believe that people that don't like pulp at all end up marrying people that love the heavy pulp. And also those are people that are split as creamy and crunchy peanut butter fans. So I don't know why, but I feel like maybe people that really love the pulp also like crunchy peanut butter. You know what I mean? Does that feel like those go together?
I mean, it'd be crazy how the funny nuances.
That guy right there.
It'd be crazy how things work out, right? But look, naturally, no pulp. Like that goes into. Have we ever talked about milk? I mean, the 2%, 1% skim, non-fat. Does that make any? That could be a whole other conversation in itself too.
It can, and I'll send it to you guys. But there's a comedian that was just like, there's way too many milks now, right? Like there's oat milk, almond milk. Like you just milked everything now. So at this point, you have more options in milk than you do like soda or water. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no way now to not just have a plethora of milk options.
Right.
I don't even know if they even have.
There was a delay on hitting that. That actually hit it, and you started talking.
No, it's straight. Real quick, do they even still have skim milk? Is that still a thing?
And that shit is still out there.
Really?
Skim milk is, and how do you get all these percentages of milk?
It's water. How much water they add to it?
Oh, he missed the whole show. Like he stopped commenting after 9/11. Like what did you miss? You missed a lot of good stuff there.
Leave my man's alone. He fell asleep.
Oh yeah, probably. I'm not gonna fault him. All right, CB, what we got for that good old soul swap this week?
So we've got a pretty dope story. So Julius Randle, who has experienced somewhat of a renaissance since arriving onto the Knicks recently, got himself a deal. He was sixth man of the year, right? And his son went viral because they were playing the Nets or something like that. Yep. And they caught him like walking through the tunnel being like, I hate Brooklyn, or saying something like that. He went viral off of it. And it's dope. They got like a landmark like father-son sneaker deal with JD Sports Kids, JD Kids. Mm-hmm. And so it's awesome. I think it's dope that he's bringing, it's like a family thing. You know what I mean? I think it's always really cool when you get to see all the father-son stuff, and it's funny to see, because it was whoever's idea it was to get his son involved, like that was definitely the right move. Like that's
absolutely. I think the deal is more, when you have a cute kid, it's more about the kid than anything else, and the opportunity is there. I think this is a good move. I knew JD Sports was around, but E from OT Show, he loves JD Sports. He's always talking about the deals that he's gotten from JD Sports for to keep it 100 or whatever. But no, I think this is dope. It's a good feel good story. I mean, you get to take your son to work with your son, and just the campaign, and and the kid has his own little kids now, like he's the face of the kids now, which is dope. So that's feel good story. This is what we need.
Yeah, echo everything you said. When I saw it, I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, dope that they included the kid, but shout out for them highlighting Black fathers. You know what I'm saying, with their kids, and not just a guy resurgent in the New York area, trying to make good from, almost being counted out in the league, based upon where he was at. But this is more of a feel-good story of a family man, you know what I'm saying, that's doing it the right way, and that's put in the hard work that we've all seen, you know what I mean, from when he first came in. So I think that, you want to include that, because I think the family aspect of it really brings it full circle for him.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, CB, what we got for that copper drop?
So, I don't know who was paying attention earlier, but Social Status, they're in the midst of dropping 2 dunk mids. They dropped one today, the chocolate milk free lunch, which you better believe the queue opened up on the Social Status website. They had an awesome release, actually. The way that they did the release was sick, and that actually deserves praise. fighting the bots.
The bot, yep. That was the big
But
talk about.
it was crazy because they opened up this queue. I got in literally at the beginning of this 30-minute queue, and they randomize like your spot once it opens up, and it was immediately like 34,000, and I had like over an hour, and I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm getting these shoes. But not next week, but on the 18th, they moved the release date. This is the strawberry milk. So what's super cool about both shoes is that they're taking all these cues from the milk cartons that we used to get at lunch when we were in school, and some of the details are really dope. It has like an ingredients section where it looks like the back of a milk carton. The way that the tongue kind of looks like the spot like where you would rip off the top and everything. So this is obviously the strawberry milk version. You got a lot of the pink accents on there. You kind of have like a milky swoosh. So cool accents.
Yeah.
They're going to be $130. I'm assuming Social Status is going to do another similar release where there's multiple layers to the encryption. But yeah, for me, these are definitely an attempted cop. I think these are dope. Tried to get the chocolate milk ones earlier, like I was saying. And like we said, it's been the return of the dunk. These are dunk mids, and I'm still like, I think these are sick. So, Kalea, what are you thinking?
I'm cop for sure, and I hope that this bot thing that they did is just a sign of what's to come. But no, at least it makes you feel like you got a shot at it. One of my friends on IG did land a pair of the chocolate milks, which is pretty dope. But these are cop all the way. If you can't see the detail up close, I suggest everybody go look, Google it, or go, and they're all over the place, and just look at them. Just the details are pretty dope. So you got chocolate, you got strawberry. I'm assuming there'd be a milk, just a white milk, maybe perhaps coming.
I don't know. I know that it was at least going to be these two. I know that for sure.
But yeah,
copper drop.
Oh, these are definitely a cop. I'm gonna be honest. The best part of the shoe that I like is the inside. The fact that shit says expires on, right? Like any shoe that like goes all the way with the concept and not just kind of like teeters on it or gives you just a little bit. Like the chocolate milk and the strawberry milk. Like this is actually to me one of probably the dopest put together shoes of the year. Or as a quintuple, I'll give you another one. If they came out with the Cambodian breast milk ones, then right, it'd be official.
Yeah, no, these are dope.
Yeah. Now I think E-Rich, to your point, I think this is like a collaboration done correctly.
Yep.
Like, you know, we think about some of the dunks, like the dunk is one of the best silhouettes to try to tell a story with. You know, from the lows to the mids to the highs, from the way that they did the turdunkins, you know, like how they've done some, like the way that you can tell a story with it is dope. And I think that Social Status, they knocked these out.
Yeah, those are dope. Those are dope. All right. Good old shoe and tell. I'll lead off. It's been a while since I led off. You can tell I ain't got shit when I want to lead off. No, I'm just joking. But I did some digging. Instead of going through some newer stuff, I figured, I got a lot of backtracking to do. And in CB, you and I were part of the same journey on this shoe right here. Can't remember if you actually got these or another pair, but we both were in the office trying to score these.
Yo, yes.
So Vans and Tribe Called Quest did a collab for a couple different pair, and these are the ones that I mainly wanted, the Bonita Apple Bombs.
A shoe that I still have not worn.
So you did okay. I remember I remember it was this one or the other ones that I was showing up.
There was like the lows.
Yeah, the lyrics on the laces.
These are nasty. These are so crazy.
Inside, the tongue is like a crazy like pink, but then There's the date. I mean the size. That's
the measurements right there.
Measurements right there. But yeah, if you remember that Tribe Called Quest stuff, so this is a great collab. Oh, and then on the back, great collab. And if you remember, the fact that Vans did a tribute to Tribe with like I think 3 different silhouettes, was just amazing. That's still one of my favorite pair of Vans. And Vans are easy access, like they're kind of easy to get. So
easier, that's for sure.
Easier. You have a shot at Vans. You get a true college effort at Vans. All right, E got the box already. Go ahead, E.
Yeah, because I know CB's gonna crush it. But this is actually, if I remember correctly, CB was on the lookout for these, right?
Oh no!
And they're not new. I'm going back in the archives. However, they are going to drop here soon, though. They're scheduled to drop soon, again.
Yep. Notify me. Click.
The lows.
And it's like the crazy part is how like pristine these still things are, and I copped these when they first dropped. Clay, I think you remember I had them on my feet, and you was like,
"Those are the look."
I mean, you're talking about other than the bottoms, which you can tell I wear mine, right? But if you, I really take care of these. Like these,
the fact
right
that
here,
the low looked nothing like the mid was insane,
and
it's
it still was
insane.
Yes, and
it's
heat though.
Like last year or 2 years ago, they did like the other colorway they made with the elephant print. That was okay. That felt like a stepchild. But those right there, those are the ones. Which
they're
obviously going to sell out.
I mean, yeah. Though these aren't going to be one of the Jordan releases that sit, but some of us have had good luck on sneakers and Nike recently. It's been documented. I've had much more success on the Confirmed app for Adidas. So
come on and bring it.
This was a
shout out to the human race.
Oh my god.
Pharrell did it with these ones. The Ciccona, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yellow laces too, right?
They come with yellow laces. So I'm thinking I might actually swap them out, but this is a dope shoe. They're comfortable. It's kind of following one of somewhat of I don't want to say minimalist, but mimicking like the natural movements of your foot and things like that. Not exactly sure if they're calling this cushioning anything. It's not Boost, but still super cozy.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was a dub that I was happy to get.
Dope. 2 dubs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When you catch the Soul Links early and then forget that you entered in the raffle and you get the raffle too. It's like,
it happens.
Kaleo, did you hit? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm sure that those Travis Scotts are still keeping you warm.
Yeah, they are. I love it.
And those chunky dunkies. Don't think I forgot.
You're done for the year. Like, let's just go ahead and put that.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm racking up L's all the way around. I know that. But yeah, now look, about to get out of here. But I appreciate you fellas. And again, 20 years tomorrow. So if anybody's watching, whatever, just as you reflect, if you were around to remember September 11th, 2001, spend a little time just reflecting on, where you just that day. I mean, it's gonna be tributes all around on TV and stuff, but just think about it, and then think about where we are now. 2 different types of ways the world has been affected. And we're still 20 years later, still in the wrath, feeling the wrath of that. And I say all that because what we're in now, I'm assuming, if people don't do the right things, we're still going to feel the wrath of that. So definitely mask up. We're not out of this. Masks are very important. People are going to concerts and doing fun things, and you can still be semi-safe. I'm assuming you can still protect yourself, but COVID is still real. Trust me. When it starts to hit close, you realize just how close it can hit. Just it's real. Everybody wear your mask. Protect yourselves. Who wants to be sick? If you're not vaccinated, look, they're telling you it's free. People are out here paying for fake vaccination cards, but not the shot is free.
People are ridiculous, yo.
It's crazy.
Spelled Moderna wrong. Gonna get caught.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's it, y'all. Thank everybody for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yep.
We have something else.
Peace.
Peace.